Good morning, everyone. It's my final consecutive streaming day of the week, and today is feedback day, meaning today I'm going to be discussing all the feedback that I received in the last 24 to 48 hours regarding what I should do with Tekken 8, future games for Retro React over on DSP Throwback, and more. Plus, we'll talk a little bit about Foam Stars and the exciting week ahead. All this and more on today's Level 1 podcast. Alrighty, so everyone, welcome to the show. It's Wednesday, and you know what that means. Wednesday is my final consecutive streaming day of the week. My schedule being a lot different than most people, I should say, who would work a 9-to-5 job. My first work day is usually Fridays, and my final day of the week is Wednesday, with Thursday being my day away from streams. And I hope you're all doing well. I hope you've enjoyed this week. I certainly have. Today's streams will have a more laid-back vibe. Today is Wednesday, the 7th of February, 2024, and today we're doing a lot of RPG action, which is great. Two completely different styles of RPGs, I would say. Two different vibes to the streams. As I said, on today's podcast, we're going to talk about a lot of feedback that you guys have given me in the last couple of days, because I needed it. This channel, and in reality, all the content that I put out on YouTube is very reliant on your constructive criticism. And I've taken in some suggestions that I'd like to talk about this morning, and some interesting takes as well that I read in comments. So we'll talk about those. But in addition to all of that, we're going to have some uncomfortable stuff in the office today. And what I mean by that is today's a unique combination. It's cool outside, but the sun is out. And the landscapers are out there today. So normally on a normal day when I stream, I would just have the window wide open, I would close the blinds, and I would turn the fan up depending on the temperature outside. If it's cold outside, don't even need the fan. If it's, a normal day, turn the fan on low. If it's a day where like the sun's really out bright as it is today, I'd have the fan on high blast. But the landscapers are out there, and what that means is they're going to be making a lot of noise. Right now they're not, so I think I'm going to actually go and open up the window a little bit more. Almost closed. There we go. I'm going to try to get as much cool air in this room as I can before they come by and start making tons of noise, which very well could be during the show. Usually they come by in the mornings. It was weird. Last week they came by after I ate dinner. It was getting dark and they were out there doing landscaping, and my wife and I were like, what happened? Did the truck break down or something? A little weird. But they're there right now doing work. They already were weed whacking, and then they walked away. So I'm like, oh, okay. So if you start to hear noise, let me know. When it becomes intrusive to the show, I'm going to have to close the window. I'm just hoping they get it done quicker, because what happens is in the afternoon, if it's sunny outside, as it is today, this office heats up when the sun hits it in the afternoon. And if the window's closed, this is going to heat up like an oven. Now, right now, it's nice in here. That's why I have a long sleeve shirt on and everything. But man, I don't want to be baking in here trying to play Baldur's Gate 3. So it could be an uncomfortable day, depending on how this goes. Obviously, we'll adjust on the fly. Normally, I wouldn't even bring it up, but being that you're going to hear it and everything, and I might have to keep jumping up to change the air circulation situation, I wanted to let you know ahead of time. So, great streaming week this week, right? We got a lot done. We made good progress in Baldur's Gate 3, making it back into the mainstreams. After it being away for a week for new releases. We played the Silent Hill, the short message minigame. and saw what that was all about. Had a couple fun streams of Tekken 8 where I focused in on the characters I had already been starting to learn and got better at it. And of course, Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, we actually made good progress too, and tonight I'm looking forward to making more. So this week was a good balance for sure. When it came to the stuff that I put out there, keep in mind we still had the regular React show on DSP versus the Internet, and we had a Retro React stream on DSP Throwback of Dark Souls 1, of which the parts are still uploading daily. So, really good variety this week, and I really enjoyed it. Next week, we're going to have a fun marathon. Now, that's going to throw a little monkey wrench into the scheduled plans, but I think it's going to be fine. In fact, some of the stuff we're doing during the marathon is going to still be stuff that normally we would do. Like, for example, I'm probably going to do like an hour or two of Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth during that marathon and try to unlock the NFL player during that, which would be perfect to play as the NFL player during the Super Bowl marathon event. That would be pretty neat. We'll see if we can get that to happen. So, really briefly, let's just recap what we did yesterday on streams, but then I want to talk about feedback. Because as I said, I got some really critical feedback regarding, number one, the future of me playing Tekken 8, and number two, the future of Retro Reacts over on the Throwback channel, and I want to discuss both of them openly with you so you guys kind of know what's coming up, and of course, to get more live feedback if possible. So, yesterday, on the Level 1 podcast, talked a lot about Tekken 8, and essentially that I had come to a crossroads, that with Tekken 8, although I'm pleased with the game, and I really like it, and I feel like I'm getting better at it every time I play it, definitely I'm not getting the audience that I had for Street Fighter 6. When I played Street Fighter 6, man, people came out to watch it, especially those first few months, you know, great streams and great engagement and support, and people watched the videos and loved it and wanted more. They were craving more. Not so much with Tekken 8. From what I'm seeing, it's a much smaller audience, and even, I mean, the example I gave yesterday, you know, I had played a whole stream with Paul Phoenix on Monday and got progressively better every, video, and after 24 hours, the videos didn't even have 300 views. That means no one really cares, you know what I mean? Like, that, it's one thing if you're playing a narrative-based game like an RPG, and you're at part 20 or 30, so most people aren't even up to that part yet, and you're getting less than a few hundred views on a video, there's a reason for it. When you're playing a hot new fighting game, in each video you're progressively getting better, and each match is competitive and interesting, and people aren't watching, you're like, what gives? And we talked about this yesterday. So, basically after yesterday, I asked for feedback on Tekken 8, okay? And I said, what do you guys think is going on with this game? I want feedback on how to continue to play it, because there's going to be two schools of thought here, and there's not that much I can do in regards to choosing one, because I have to. There's two different ways to approach Tekken 8 moving forward. Approach number one is to get better at the game and play as hard as I can and watch matchup videos and try to study knowledge of the meta of the game, meaning character knowledge that I don't have right now. Try to learn how to block high-low mix-ups, try to get to improve, but focusing only on a core series of characters. Because in a fighting game, if you're going to get good at it, you need to focus on a core group of characters so that you can actually, learn their ins and outs of how they play. And this takes a lot of time and dedication. This is not, I played with the character twice, I've mastered them. No. You have to be focused on said character. Take a look at Street Fighter 6 and how long it took me to finally have it click. It took about 2 to 3 months for the game to click. So I learned all of the different various game mechanics. And once I learned the basic game mechanics, then applying those to each character, like Blanca, Honda, Lily, Dalsim, etc. And eventually then grinding with those characters to take them to master level. It took an incredible amount of time and effort, thousands of matches in some cases. So, with that being said, with Tekken, it would be the same. Taking like 3 or 4 characters, saying, this is who I want to play as. Focusing on them, learning their stuff, playing with them constantly, and kind of rotating between them until I can get them to a high level and playing the meta of the game. So that's one situation, and if I do that, the gameplay level will continuously improve. You'll see higher level gameplay, tougher matches, me fighting better players and climbing the ranks. It'll be a slow climb, but it'll definitely be interesting to see how well I can do in competitive Tekken, okay? Now, The other side, or the other possibility, the other way to tackle the game is to play it far more casually. What I mean by that is, instead of only focusing on, say, 3 characters, 4 characters, and getting better and learning the meta, instead saying, it's not that big of a deal. I don't need to get good at this game. I just want to play it casually and enjoy it for what it is. So what that would mean is, basically, you know, maybe every week, picking a different character, watching some basic tutorial videos online of said character, trying to apply those basics to that character right away, jumping online and trying to do a couple sets, and then that's it, moving on to another character next time I play. So, you know, maybe once a week you'd see one new character. You know, maybe this Friday I'd use Fang, and then the next week I would use Kuma, and then the next week I would use Nina, and then the next week I would use Reina, you know, and just keep every week a new character. Now, here's the thing. I've done both, all right? I've literally played fighting games both ways. If you truly want to make quality gameplay, you have to get good at the game, all right? Having a casual level understanding of fighting game is not good enough to make quality gameplay, right? The thing is, and I know this from experience, that not everyone out there cares about quality gameplay. Most people who are looking for high-level Tekken gameplay are not coming to DSPGaming. They're not going to be watching here. I'm not even known as a Tekken player, right? There's plenty of places out there to go and see people do that kind of stuff, right? And therefore, I feel like if I go for the higher level gameplay, I'm kind of isolating my audience. Because how many people realistically want to see DSP get good with Paul or King or June or whomever and keep coming back to see my journey to... It's not master in this game, whatever it's called, the higher ranks or whatever. So there's the truth of the matter is, does anyone really care? And it's sad because I do think, like, years and years ago, back in the day, I was more well-known for fighting games, correct? I kind of gave that up. Around the era when Street Fighter V came out, I gave it up. I said, Street Fighter V sucks so bad. I didn't want to keep playing it. And without Street Fighter V being in the mix as the major fighting game that I was playing, instead, I was going to do more variety of other games, which I did. If you take a look at the last, 10 years or so, I adopted a ton more style of games that normally I wasn't even playing. I mean, games like the Persona series, the Yakuza series, and things that became staples of my content that hadn't been previously. They kind of moved in and took over for my fighting game coverage. Now, I'm not to say that I didn't cover fighting games. I did. When a new fighting game came out, I would play it. If it had a story mode, I would play it. Any offline modes, I would play them. I would learn a few characters, go online, and then essentially I would drop the game within a couple of weeks of it releasing. And this pretty much went for every fighting game, whether it was a Mortal Kombat or an Injustice or a Tekken or another kind of a spin-off fighter, whatever fighters I played, that was it for me, right? Like, I didn't really care as much about them. Now, when Street Fighter 6 came out, that's when things changed. Because with Street Fighter 6, it looked so good. And I was like, man, it really feels like this is an invigoration or reinvigoration of the fighting game community for me. Because they put so much effort into the game. It plays how you would want a competitive fighter to play. It has the best online netcode of any fighter I've ever seen. It has a ton of features, both online and offline, which is great. So all this stuff to me is saying this is the time to get back in the fighting game. So I did. Last year, I committed myself to Street Fighter 6 the entire summer and early into the fall. It actually wasn't even until, October when I laid up and stopped playing it regularly because there were so many other releases out. And I did well. As much as morons on the internet would like to pretend, because they always pretend and try to say anything that I do of any kind of achievement doesn't exist, I got good at Street Fighter 6. I took multiple characters to the master level with winning records. Unlike other people who were picking Ken and grinding it out and only winning a third or a fourth of the time but still got to master, every character I played with in Street Fighter 6 had a big winning record where I won way more than I ever lost, and I got them to master relatively quickly. So that was a big accomplishment for me to get back into a competitive level. I would like to think that if I took those characters to a tournament, I would at least do decent. I certainly wouldn't win any tournaments, but I think that I probably would have beaten a few opponents at a tournament and stuff, and that's way better than I would say I ever would have done previous in the last 10 to 15 years because I just didn't give a crap. I really felt like I had fallen out of love with fighting games because Street Fighter V was so shitty. Now, In regards to Tekken 8, the other way I can approach it outside of getting good like I did in Street Fighter 6 is to just casually play it. And to truth be told, if you go back in time and you look at my original fighting game coverage that I did on my original Dark Side Phil channel, and even the coverage that I did on the DSP Street Fighter channel for about a year, it was more casualized coverage. And what I mean by that is, I absolutely did not focus in on only a couple characters and get good and try to play at a high level. That never happened. I was known as the casual guy who got popular on YouTube for fighting games, and the FGC resented me for that. Huge. That's why when, back in the day, if you look at interviews from like 2009, 2010, and they'll ask guys like, you know, Mike Ross or something at a tournament, so what do you think of DSP? And he'd be like, DSP, I don't know who the fuck that is, and blah, blah, blah. Of course they all knew who I was. They constantly talked about me on their commentary at tournaments. They dropped my name everywhere, always in a negative light. Why? Because I didn't want to be part of their community. I'd been there, done that. I had no desire to be a competitive fighting game player, but I was very prominent on the internet for making fighting game content, despite the fact I wasn't good. They hated that shit. Here they were grinding away, trying to get popular on the internet for high-level gameplay, but I was way more prominent than they were, and you know, at that point, one of the top gamers on YouTube, and they really resented it. But again, that was because I was a casual guy. I was more focused on, let's do over-the-top commentary on silly gameplay and have a good time with it, rather than, oh, let's play high level and teach people how to play the game. That was never my intention. You know, I was doing entire sets of Dan Madness, the worst character or one of the worst characters of Street Fighter 4, and I was beating people with Dan and laughing at them and how bad they sucked because they lost to Dan online. That's the kind of content I used to put out, and that was what was prominent, all right? But that was like 13, 14 years ago, all right? Like, that was a long time ago, and that kind of content today is actually looked down upon by anyone into fighting games. Meaning, if you make content in a fighting game and you have commentary where you're like berating the other person or insulting the other person or saying ridiculous things, oh, that's not allowed anymore, right? That's too taboo, too harsh. You're supposed to be ultra respectful now in the FGC. You're supposed to praise your opponents constantly, never say a negative thing about the game, only be positive. And it's like, wait, what? Like, when I grew up in arcades, no lie, it was this actual like hazing atmosphere, as if you were in college and people were hazing you, or like in a locker room at a high school. That's really what it was like in the fighting game community in its early inceptive days, before the days of Street Fighter 4, esports, sponsorships, and everyone making bank playing fighting games. So I grew up in a whole different generation that shit talk was common. No one would watch someone play a game and shit talk each other in a fighting game and then be offended at all. It never happened. Everyone was used to the shit talk. You had to be in line with it. You know what I'm saying? Now, I go ahead and I play a fighting game, and God forbid that I make a joke or I say that someone sucks and is a button masher. It's like, oh, that was so insanely disrespectful. What the fuck are you talking about? Like, I don't even know who the person is who I'm playing, right? I have no knowledge of who the people are on the other side of the internet playing these games. I'm not making insanely hurtful personal insults about them and their character and their real life shit. I'm just saying their gameplay sucks, right? There's nothing wrong with that, in my opinion. Everyone's always going to say, if you lose to someone and you got sour grapes about it, you're going to say they're a scrub, right? It's just a common thing. And the fact that in the FGC, this has become such a prominent thing now, oh God, you can't fucking make fun of others and stuff. It's like, what are you talking about, right? And of course, for me, I'm always under the microscope. God forbid that anyone else does it, it's fine. But if Darkside Phil does it, he shows up on the Scrub Quotes Twitter account, and all my detractors fucking redo it and get content out of it and stuff. It's like so stupid, right? It's so dumb. That's not the nature of how it used to be in that community. You know what I'm saying? So, the thing that is about this, if I continue to play Tekken 8 casually, instead of I don't care about getting good at the game or whatever, and I play a new character every week, that's all well and good, but is that really enough? Is that enough to keep me interested? Is that enough to keep you guys interested? Because eventually we're going to get bored of just playing it at a casual level and just messing around with new characters. And essentially that's exactly what happens every time that I play a fighting game. I'll play it for like a month or two, and then I get bored and I just don't play it anymore, right? Like, for example, with Tekken 7, I think I played 4 or 5 characters, and Lily was my best character. And I got to a point where I was like, okay, I'm now at the point, the only way I'm going to improve is to study this game, to actually put time and effort into learning the meta. How do I parry? How do I learn the absolute perfect timing to keep hitting people, to do giant combos and the like, to mix them up? How do I get around? I need to know all the matchup knowledge for all these characters. And I even said it to the audience. I said, I feel like I've now hit the wall where I need to now treat this more seriously to get better. But at that point, and this was many years ago when Tekken 7 had just come out, people were like, nah, that's enough. I was like, okay. And that's when we moved on. And I literally never played Tekken 7 again because people said that they wanted other stuff. Now, we're a different point now. We're years later, and I actually got really good at Street Fighter 6. And for an extended period of 7+ months, I feel like the content got better and better. My gameplay got better and better, right? And the only reason really that I dropped Street Fighter 6 is because the game's stagnant now. Like, really, it's hit a level where there's nothing changing in it. It plays the same. Everyone's playing the same online. It's just an endless grind. The only way I would get better at the game is to play it 5-6 hours a day like the pros do, and I'm not going to do that. So it makes sense to move on to another game, which is what we're doing with Tekken. But the way I see it is like, I'm kind of damned if I do and I'm damned if I don't. If I drop the game entirely, people will be upset and be like, dude, you played it for 2 weeks. Why are you dropping it so early? If I play it and try to get better at it and try to reach a higher level of gameplay in it, which I very well could do, then I have to focus on 3 or 4 characters, and people are undoubtedly going to say, well, you always use the same characters. This is boring. If I try to learn every character on a casual level, I'm never going to get good at the game, and undoubtedly people are going to say, man, every time you play, you're only fighting scrubs, and you're not really getting any better, and this is boring, right? The way that I can make it spicy is to have the kind of commentary that I'm known for, but people find it inflammatory. People find it insulting. People find it uncouth of someone trying to make content on the internet to talk shit now. So it's kind of like, so what do you do, right? It's like, no matter what content I do, everyone has an excuse for why it's no good. The high-level stuff is too boring and samey and grindy. The casual play, you never get good, and it gets repetitive and boring because you're only playing scrubs. Oh, well, if you talk shit during your commentary, that's entertaining, but also insulting, and you're a horrible human. So it's like, all right, so what am I supposed to make then? You know what I mean? Like, it's funny because I've read the feedback. In the last 24 hours, a bunch of people left comments about this on my videos or reached out to me otherwise. And everyone's feedback is different. One person outright said the following. I'm not kidding. I'm paraphrasing, but this is outright what they said. The reason that people come and watch you play fighting games is because they want to see you get angry and toxic. They find it entertaining. That's what got you noticed for Street Fighter 4 a million years ago. That's why the FGC resented you so badly, because they couldn't get the views you were getting on the gameplay that they were putting out, and they thought, oh, our gameplay is way better than his, so why is he popular? People didn't understand that you were funny. They didn't like that, right? People like you when you're at your worst because it's funny to see you flip out with rage. So if you do that kind of stuff all the time, more people will show up and watch it. Like, yeah, but every time I do it, people complain that I'm toxic and I'm a jerk. And, it's like, here's the thing. For me, there's got to be a balance. When I make content, there has to be a balance. And the balance has to be the following. I am enjoying what I'm doing and want to keep doing it. Okay? You enjoy what I'm doing and want me to keep doing it. And of course, the other thing is people actually show up to watch the content, engage with it, and support it. Those are the 3 factors. I like what I'm doing, you like what I'm doing, and it can be supported so I can make money and have a business out of it. Okay? Those are the 3 key factors to success here with my gameplay and business. Other people may be different, but that's the keys to success for me. All right? Now, very much, there is some of the time when that's not always true. Sometimes I'll be playing a game I hate, but you guys outright love watching me play it, and I will tough my way through it regardless, even if I don't like it. I mean, perfect example of that, Wolong Fallen Bullshit last year, whatever it was called. I did not like that game. I felt that game was a bad knockoff of a bunch of others, bad execution, bad controls, bad graphics. Everything was fucked up about it. I didn't enjoy it, but I toughed through it because you guys wanted to see it, so there you go. Now, there's other cases where I like a game, But you guys don't like it that much. But because I'm enjoying it so much, I'll still go through with it. I call these kind of like pet projects or kind of the love letter games. Like if I'm playing Chrono Trigger, I realize that my mainstream audience doesn't love that. But I want to play it because it's a game that's near and dear to my heart from my childhood. I want to make that playthrough so those who do care about me as a person can eventually watch it and see how much it meant to me and why, right? It'll never go popular. It'll never get giant views, but at least it's cool that I got a playthrough out of that last year. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes you can make those exceptions. Sometimes you have to make that exception to put out content that's either meaningful to you or your audience or both. And it goes hand in hand that, you know, if you make that kind of content that's not always agreed upon on both sides, you got to balance it with stuff that people agree upon. So that way I can keep operating a successful business, right? So, my question is, again, what to do with Tekken? Because people seem to be all over the place with this. Some people want to see me get better at the game. They say, all right, you know what? Pick 3-4 characters, focus on them, rotate between, get better, learn balance changes to the game. There was just a balance patch last night. They rebalanced Tekken 8. They made it so that June isn't as overpowered in the corner as she used to be. They made it so that she can't do the palm strike in a combo in the corner, which is good because it was so ridiculous how much she could do to you in the corner. They made it so Devil Jin's kicks aren't as good because they used to have insane range across the screen leading to a combo from almost anywhere, and they made it so now it's not as good. They made it so a lot of moves can be blocked and punished, which couldn't be before. Dragunov. I was saying, Dragunov seems way too strong because he's got these giant sweeping launchers that all then immediately lead to combos and are safe. So I guess they nerfed Dragunov. They made it so he can't just keep doing that you can punish a lot of those, right? So I got to learn these changes, right? I do. This patch came out. I have to learn these changes if I want to get better at the game. I have to know now what's happened to these characters so I can take advantage of that knowledge, right? So, you know, I'm having a good time with the game. I'm liking getting better. I had a good amount of fun yesterday or 2 days ago playing with Paul. That was fun because I was like, wow, I didn't use him since launch. A week and a half later, I jump in and I'm actually doing really good. I got combos. I'm learning strategies. I'm dominating in a lot of these matches, you know. And the way I see it, if I keep playing at a higher level, I will enjoy it to some extent. Now, will I hit the wall like I did with Street Fighter 6? I might. I might get to a point where this is the meta, and in order to get better, the only way I'm going to get better is to easily either find the optimal way to play the game online, which I don't think anyone even knows in Tekken right now. Like, a lot of people bought the game on PC and immediately found out the PC version isn't better. Like, with Street Fighter 6, the PC version is better. Everyone found ways to tweak it, so they have better input lag and shit. People who bought Tekken on PC are like, oh, so really it wasn't better. It's not. It's supposedly like an equal playing field right now, which is actually a good thing for the launch of a game like this. So, yeah, like, right now, it's a great time to play the game hardcore and get better at it. But I very well could hit the wall like I did at Street Fighter 6 and be like, well, the only way I'm going to get better now is to play this 5 hours a day. I'm not playing Tekken 8 5 hours a day. That's never going to happen, you know? At most, I'm playing it, what, twice a week? So, you get to that point. Now, if I play it casually, that's cool, but understand I'm just not going to get better at it. I'll mess around and learn basic strategies with a few characters, but I'm probably never going to get to the point where I'm actually playing the game at any kind of a high level. It's just me messing around and always playing low-level people, you know, which I'm okay with, but probably it'll get boring within a few weeks and I'll drop it in a month or so, right? Like, that's what's destined to happen if you play a game like that. So, we need a decision. And right now, I'm kind of like on the fence about it. I really don't know what to do. So what I think I'm going to do for Friday Night Fights this week, I want to go back to King. I haven't used him now in a bit. And I'm going to study. I'm going to look at some matchup knowledge. I'm going to look at people doing videos about, like, what I need to know what to do to punish with King. When someone does an unsafe move, how do I punish it after the fact? And does he have any good high-low mix-up? Because I think he does, but I'm not aware of it. Like, I need to figure this stuff out. Once I figure that stuff out, because I know basic juggles. I know some of his good command throws. But I need to implement better strategy with King. Okay? So I think I want to focus on that for at least Friday. For Friday Night Fights, it'll be like King on Friday Night Fights and see how it goes. But outside of that, I'm actually not sure what I want to do next in the game. Do I want to stick with Paul, King, June? Do I want to take on a new character? I have to think about it. And again, I want your feedback on this. So we'll see. All right, we'll see. And please continue to give me feedback because I need it. But yeah, I am kind of at a part where I need to make an important decision. And I'm not sure what the right choice is. I feel like no matter what choice I make, some people won't be happy, right? Okay, so that's what happened yesterday, anyway, on the podcast. Then we did Baldur's Gate 3, and Baldur's Gate 3 went really well. We're in Act 2, and we did a full exploration of the northeastern part of the Act 2 map. We finally got to Last Light, and that's where we are, where we're going to be picking up today. I've heard that there's a bunch of questing and stuff going on at Last Light that's important, and then we're going to probably do quests in the open world for the Last Light people, and then we're going to go to the morgue. That's next, which apparently leads into the end game of Act 2 once you go to the morgue. Not the morgue, the mortuary, excuse me. The mortuary is what I meant to say. Last night, we played Pal World. Had a great time with it. Every time we play Pal World, it's a relaxing, fun time. Last night, notably, we took on the first boss again and beat it this time. I was happy to conquer the first boss this time because the first time I fought the first boss, it kicked my butt, but this time I went in there ready. I had a better crossbow that did way more damage. I brought the correct pals with me that were leveled up, and they were dealing massive damage to it. So we did it. We took it on and beat it. In addition, we explored a ton of the map and got a lot of upgrades and things, so it went really, really well. I had a good time with it, and I'm very excited to play more once a week when we play it, you know? So please give it a look. Thanks to those who attend the Pal World streams. It went good, okay? Today, more Baldur's Gate 3 as we continue on again in Last Light and then further into Act 2. Tonight on the late stream, Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, and this is an important stream. We're in Chapter 4. We're in the Barracuda's base in the District 9 area of the game, and we're going to just basically go through all of that tonight. From what I'm going to understand tonight, we should get through the entire part of Chapter 4 and finish it. It'll lead us into Chapter 5 when the game really starts to open up. Because in Chapter 5 is when you get the job system, where now you can switch your characters between different jobs and they change their abilities and their appearance. This is really when the combat gets great. And also when I can start playing as the NFL player, which I'm actually excited to try out because I got that as part of the deluxe version of the game. So, tonight, really awesome night in Like a Dragon. I hope you'll come by 6:45 p.m. Pacific time and enjoy the story with me. I'm off from streaming tomorrow. I won't be around. Likely, I know I have to run a lot more errands tomorrow than I did last week. Last week was like a super short week where I ran off for like an hour, came home, and had a lot of time with my wife. Sadly, this week, I got a lot of stuff I got to do. I got to go to the pet store. I got to go to the liquor store to see what liquor I can get for the marathon on Saturday. Still got to do grocery shopping and the like. So a lot more to do. But I'm going to try to spend some time, obviously, with my wife. Maybe some more Tekken 8. We'll see. And it should be a good day. Then, on Friday, more Baldur's Gate 3. And I'm curious, for those who've played this game, do you know how close I am to the end of Act 2? Because we got Last Light today, and then whatever that leads us to. We've got the mortuary, right? Outside of that, I don't know what else is left in Act 2. People were saying if you do the mortuary after that is like the end of Act 2. I'm wondering if we can actually get into Act 3 within the next couple of weeks, because then you're in at least the end of the game. And I feel like if we get to that point, and then when Final Fantasy VII Rebirth comes out, that's absolutely going to be the major focus on my streams. I know it is. That game is going to have a lot of hype behind it. Everyone's going to want to see it. I'm dying to play it way more than Remake, because now I know it's a new plot line, open world, new elements that weren't in the original game. I'm very excited for this game, okay? So, what I'm wondering is if we can get into Act 3 of Baldur's Gate by the time Final Fantasy comes out, at least then it'll feel like we got really far and we can more casually play the game, all right? Because I would say when we beat all of Act 1, the momentum was there to go into Act 2, and then I didn't play it for the week and people were upset. Now I played it again and we're getting good progress. So that's what I'm thinking. Like, I really want to beat Act 2, say within the next week to 2 weeks, so that way we can feel like we're in the home stretch of the game once we hit Act 3, okay? But anyway, yeah, so more Baldur's Gate 3 on Friday. Friday night will be Friday Night Fights, Tekken 8, probably with King, to get better with King. Saturday is the big marathon event, which I'm calling my Superbowl Bash. And now we're starting to formulate a lot more what we'll be doing during this event. Number one, I'll be dressed up in NFL attire all day long. I have 3 jerseys to swap between. I have a helmet to wear. I have other things to take out, like little props and things. There'll be booze. What kind of booze, I don't know. Maybe I'll have some hard liquor. Maybe I'll have some beer. We'll see. I'll try to figure out what I want to get to drink during the show. there will be food. My wife has already found an awesome recipe for a dip that she's going to make. But outside of that, we're not sure what else. She's going to make at least one, if not two more dishes that we'll be eating over the course of the day. That'll be awesome. Now, you guys said you want gameplay. You're going to get gameplay. The first piece of gameplay you're going to get, Madden 24, simulated match of the Super Bowl, Kansas City Chiefs versus San Francisco 49ers, and I'll commentate on it. That'll be pretty neat. Commentating on this AI match and see what Madden thinks who will win the Super Bowl, right? That'll be cool. Number 2, we're going to do a couple of hours of Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth. Why? Because number 1, I need to make maximum progress in the game this week to try to unlock Dondoko Island. And number 2, because I should unlock the NFL player on Saturday. So I could play as an NFL player in the game during the NFL Super Bowl Marathon. Kind of makes sense. Kind of a timely thing, right? That's cool. But also, you guys have had other ideas of stuff to do. One of the ideas that came up was, why don't I try this new Foam Stars game that just came out on PlayStation Plus? Now, for those who aren't aware, Foam Stars is a game that basically looks like a knockoff of Splatoon. Apparently, people who are playing it are like, it totally is Splatoon with a few tweaks. It's not exactly like Splatoon, but absolutely it's Splatoon. Like, that to a T, that's what they were going for. They were copying this game. So I have a little bit to say about Foam Stars. So we'll talk about it now. We might as well, okay? So, people who played Foam Stars, all right? Well, first of all, here's something that was kind of interesting. Foam Stars released yesterday, but they did a launch event for it, okay? And when they did this launch event, they did something completely different than what you would expect. They actually hired small-time content creators to go to the launch event of Foam Stars. They didn't hire big-time people and pay them insane amounts of money. Like, they didn't hire fucking giant streamers to go there. They just hired, like normal-level people. And although I appreciate that, because I think that that's a cool way to approach it, getting normal people like you and me to play the game and tell their real opinions on it, it didn't really get much traction. Like, if you look at the Foam Stars launch party that they did, the people who tweeted about it, who got paid to be there, they get like 50 likes on their post. They got 100 retweets. It's like, wow, that's like almost no reach on Twitter. Like, that's not social media like they were hoping for, I'm sure. I'm sure when they did this event, they didn't do it so that 100 people would know about Foam Stars. So it didn't really do much, and that's why I was saying yesterday, it was weird that Foam Stars had come out, but I hadn't heard anything about it. Like, there was no buzz on social media about it yesterday at all. It wasn't until people actually got their hands on it yesterday that started talking about it. So I've seen some footage of it, and it's not very impressive, just to be honest. And people who were talking about it, I mean, the overall opinion on it is basically this. Meh. It's not terrible, but it's not good. The major problem people are having is finding enough people to play a solid game. Like, people keep matching up and either can't find a full team, or they find it and it's laggy as shit because no one's playing it. Like, it's basically kind of dead on arrival. So those who are playing it are saying it's not that bad. The graphics are decent on PS5, and it's fun, but again, I mean, think it's variations on Splatoon. And it's funny because you would think that if it's a free for PS Plus game, and so many people have PS Plus to have online play for their games, that it would be a no-brainer, people would be playing it. But what's actually happened, I feel, at least from what I'm seeing on social media, is that something's been exposed that a lot of people have been saying for years, but a lot of people don't want to listen to, and they always say, oh, no, that's not true. And what's happened is this game's formula has been exposed. What do I mean by that? Here's what I mean. Splatoon is a popular game. It is. Splatoon is only a popular game because it's a Nintendo exclusive. If Splatoon was a cross-platform game, no one would care. But because it's a Nintendo exclusive, the Nintendo Force fanboys go out there and buy the shit out of it, make memes about it, put them all over social media, play the game constantly, have tournament leagues of it, because they feel like this is something for them. This is something that's part of their culture and their community, and therefore they absorb it, right? They accept it, they absorb it, they buy it, they share it. It's special. But the moment that gameplay now is no longer Nintendo exclusive, and it's on another competitor's console, no one really cares. Right? Same thing with a lot of games here, right? With, for example, a lot of these first-party Nintendo titles, if you think about the first-party Nintendo titles, you think, why are they really special and prominent? Well, it's because they're always on a Nintendo console. It's the Nintendo IP attached to it that gives it that level of prominence, right? That's why you think people like I played Splatoon 1. I thought Splatoon 1 was a decent game. I did. I liked it a lot. And then within a few weeks I got bored because I was like, why do they limit you to certain game modes and maps? It doesn't make sense. And the answer was because they were padding their game. They knew that the game had limited content, and by timing the times that you could do modes and maps, they would limit the amount you could play at a time, so you couldn't get bored that fast because you were actually gauged and limited on what you could play. It was stupid, but it actually fooled people into thinking the game had more to it than it had. When Splatoon 2 came out, I skipped it entirely, and some people gave me shit for it, and I was like, but why? It looks the same as the first game. Splatoon 3 came out 2 years ago. Once again, I was going to skip it, and people were like, no, you should absolutely play it. You need to buy it and play it, because it's a Nintendo exclusive, it's Switch, you know, you don't do that many games. You'll be doing a disservice if you don't play it. I bought it and played it, and within 1 week, all the viewers were bored and demanded I stopped playing it. And I wasn't even bored of it yet. I was still, like, learning it and enjoying it, and everyone told me, just stop playing it, move on, it sucks. So I did. So if anything, if you're not in that very, I hate to say it, exclusive Nintendo fanboyish mindset community, a lot of the content that becomes the most prominent on Nintendo consoles, it's just not that good. I don't think Splatoon is anything that special. It's good, it's addictive, but it's not like, oh my god, it's a must play, you absolutely must enjoy this game. I don't believe that at all. Alright? I never did. Even Splatoon 1, I said the same thing. It's been 3 iterations, it's the same game 3 times. And they, you know what I mean? So now, their competitor has made essentially the same game. It's out for a day and a half, and people were like, meh. Right? Well, why is it meh when it's the same game that you already praised? Oh, because it's not on Nintendo. Well, there's your answer. You're not a fan of Splatoon. You're a fanboy of Nintendo. That's why you think Splatoon's good. Anyway, that being said, people have said or asked, would I check out Foam Stars on Saturday? I leave that totally in your court. The ball's in your court. If you want to see me do that on Saturday, I'm open to trying it. You know, it's a free download. I have PS Plus. I'm not against giving it a shot and seeing if it's something that is worth playing. Maybe we'll just do it the once and that's it. We never play it again. I mean, if it really does play exactly like Splatoon, then I don't know why I would even want to really play as much. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. So let's see. I guess unless you don't want it, in which case we don't play it. It's totally up to you guys. I'll leave that as an option. Maybe during the marathon event, I'll poll or we'll ask and we'll see what people want or whatever. Okay, but I think that would be to make the most sense of a time to try it would be the day when I'm already doing big variety during this bash. That would be the time to check it out. And then, definitely one thing that I think I want to do during that event is some Call of Duty multiplayer. And for those who aren't aware, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 Season 2 launched right now. Like, literally right now. So what it's supposed to be is retweaking of the game, and it's different, it's different gameplay elements, like making them better or more balanced. New maps supposedly added. I don't know how many, but it's supposed to be new maps and other things. So if I'm going to play Modern Warfare 3, it would make sense to do it during this event to check out that new stuff. And, you know, if I have a few drinks in me and we're playing casually and we're having fun, I'm going ham with dual handguns or something silly, maybe a melee weapon, I think it's going to be a lot more fun and interesting. So I think that makes sense. So guaranteed this Saturday, I would say the simulated Super Bowl, game, Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, and probably some Call of Duty. If you want to see Foam Stars, if you want to see me play some Tekken, if you want to see me maybe go on, do a random session of Street Fighter, whatever it may be, I would be open to that too. I just need to know what it is that you guys want to see. You know, let me know. And we'll go from there. All right? But I think it's going to be a nice, laid-back, chill event. It's not going to be anything ultra serious. It's not going to be anything that we have to be so important. Oh, my God, he absolutely must do this, this, and this during the event. It's not that serious of a deal. It's more supposed to be a relaxing day together outside of the realm of what I usually do on my streams. And just being very honest here, last month, I lost out on a ton of income because of troll activities. These memberships, which the trolls gave away for free, that should not have been given away for free like that, and I got nothing for it, okay? A lot of people now have free memberships, and obviously because of that, haven't paid for their membership, and I lost out on a lot of income as a result. This Saturday, if you come by the Super Bowl Bash and support the stream, that would help a lot to get me back to the level I should be at. Notably, tips would make a lot of sense because tips I get right now, and what's going to happen is this month when I get paid by YouTube, it's going to be way less than what I usually make, and that's going to hurt me when it comes to things like paying bills. So tips would be great because I could use those right away this month to pay the bills and fill in the gaps for the way less income I'm going to get as a result of this malicious activity against me and the channel, all right? So please consider, if you're someone who was going to get a membership this month and then you didn't because you got one for free, please consider contributing this coming Saturday during the event. Okay? Fair enough. So that's coming up on Saturday. I'm very excited for that. Sunday, we're back to our normal React Day schedule where it's DSP versus the internet on the first stream, and then I'm going to play more Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth on the late stream. Monday is going to be Tekken 8, and I believe we'll do Pal World. Tuesday will be Baldur's Gate 3 and Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, and the whole point here is playing Like a Dragon tonight, Like a Dragon on Saturday, Like a Dragon on Sunday, Like a Dragon on Tuesday, is that hopefully by then we will unlock the Dondoko Island, which is the Animal Crossing Disney Dreamlight Valley style sim mode in Like a Dragon. And the reason I want to unlock that is because I want to do my first ever co-op gameplay stream with my wife, Kat, on Valentine's Day. We've talked about it all week. We're hyped, and my wife's like, yes, please try to unlock the mode. I would love to do that with you on Valentine's Day night. That would be a really nice way to spend the night together, you know, doing that. So the thing is, I have to unlock it. I have to get to that point, which means I have to play a lot of the game to get to Chapter 6. Right now, we're in Chapter 4. We might beat Chapter 4 tonight. Chapter 5 is this whole chapter where the game opens up, the job system opens up, there's tons of more content, but I have to get through that to get to Chapter 6 and unlock Dondoko so we can do it together on Tuesday night. So, fingers crossed, hoping for the best. If everything goes according to plan, we're going to do that night. So that would be that Wednesday night, February 14th. Late night stream will be our very first ever cooperative gameplay stream here on DSPGaming. Really cool. Okay? Cool. So that's the schedule. Okay. We talked about Tekken 8. The other thing I want to talk about today before we get to shoutouts. Yesterday, I asked for your feedback over on DSP Throwback. What feedback? Well, I wanted to know what games would you like to see me react to, all right, when it comes to the new Retro React series that I'm doing as an every other week stream on DSP Throwback. So far, we've done Red Dead Redemption 1, and we've done Dark Souls 1, and those went really well. Those streams, you know, the people who were there were really engaged and attentive and supportive and loved it and cannot wait for more. So I asked for some suggestions. So I did get some interesting suggestions, all right? Number one, absolutely everyone wants Heavy Rain in the mix. Everyone was like, man, Heavy Rain was this close to winning this last week. Absolutely, we want this in the mix as an option. All right, so Heavy Rain 100% will be an option. Another interesting option that people came up with that I had totally forgotten about. How about this one? You ready for this one? Indigo Prophecy. Does anyone remember what Indigo Prophecy is? That was the first game ever that Quantic Dream made. And that was a special playthrough that I did as a Halloween playthrough in 2010, I want to say. And people really liked that playthrough because the game looks like shit. Okay, it does. It looks terrible. But it's funny. It is so goofy and funny. At first, it starts super serious with like a gory murder. And then all of a sudden, it's like these weird things going on. By the end of the game, there's fucking aliens and shit. It's the weirdest game. But for me to go back and actually comment on it again would be pretty neat. I think to look at my old gameplay of it and do commentary would be pretty entertaining. So I would say right now, okay, the prime candidates would be more Dark Souls, Heavy Rain, or Indigo Prophecy. All right? Now, I'm looking for a fourth option. And some people are saying Fallout 3. And here's the thing. Like, I love Fallout 3. But I don't know if we can do it. We'd have to research it and see if those first, like it has to be about 2.5 hours of gameplay that's not going to have that copywritten radio music on it. Because if we play that, I'm telling you right now, the stream's going to end up getting muted as well as the videos. Like, that music has been claimed, blocked, and just fucked beyond belief on YouTube. I know how stupid that sounds. It shouldn't be like that, but YouTube is just dumb as hell. So anyone who played Fallout 3 and had the radio on gets screwed over. And I'm almost sure that in my first playthrough I had the radio on. You know? So I'm not sure how that would work. You know? I would love to commentate on my original Fallout 3 playthrough, but I don't know if we would be able to. And see if it's... Again, I'll tell you this. I really don't care that much about the ad revenue. I don't. It's at most, I'll probably make, a couple, dozen bucks on ad revenue on these videos. It's not that big of a deal to me. But I don't want the videos muted. If the video's muted, there's no point in making the video. It's so stupid that YouTube does that. That, we're going to fucking block your content now unless you edit the audio out. And it's like, I hate you. Like, why can't you just abide by the law? Why do you make your own fucking rules up? It baffles me. It does. It drives me nuts. So I'd be interested in Fallout for sure. I would. But we would have to find a way or confirm that it would be all right. At least for like the first 2.5 hours, because usually these streams last about 2 to 2.5 hours. We'd have to be sure that was okay. So I don't know if we'd have to go back and watch the original playthrough to see is it listenable. I guess what I could try to do is go back and find the original playthrough and see, what restrictions were placed on the videos. I'm almost positive that those videos were blocked or muted in a ton of territories because of the music, I'm just curious. I know I replayed Fallout 3 on this channel. Here it is. 2014 was the last time that I played Fallout 3. So I actually replayed Fallout 3 in direct capture. I did. I didn't even remember that I had done that. March of 2014 I did this. How do I not remember that? That's remarkable. I don't recall that at all. Does anyone remember me replaying it in 2014? I don't. I literally don't. Here, I'm going to try to go to the earliest parts. Now, if I remember correctly, I didn't have the radio on for that playthrough. Oh, I played it all through 2013. Here we go. I'm checking the playthrough right now. Wow, I actually played that game throughout the entire year of 2013. Oh, yeah, here we go. Blocked, partially blocked. Let me check on this. Cannot be watched or monetized in certain countries. What countries? Russia. Well, I'm really going to disappoint my Russian fans. If I watch Fallout 3... Those poor Russians, they're going to be so upset that they can't watch my retro react to Fallout 3. Oh, man. This one is all screwed up. Yeah, wow. Entire parts are missing. Look at this. Wow. Yeah, all these parts are missing. So I can see right now... I see what happened. A lot of these parts got blocked, and I had to edit them to cut out the parts that were making it so they could not be viewed on YouTube. I'm staring at it right now. Oh, man, this fucking site is shit. Is Is it Russia again, this one? It is. Yeah, it looks like, and it was the earlier parts, too. Yep. So here's the deal. When you're in the bunker, which is the beginning of the game, it doesn't play any of the music. I'm looking. We're at like 6 to 7. Okay, I started having problems with the playthrough when we got to the first town. Yeah. In this playthrough, this is the 2013 playthrough, May of 2013. So very old. 11 years old was the last time I played the game. Part 7. So that's only like after the first hour. I started playing the music, and immediately it was getting blocked. Yup. For this song. Yup, for this song here. Butcher Pete Part 1. What the fuck is Butcher Pete Part 1? I have no clue. Jazzy Interlude. It got, blocked and claimed for Jazzy Interlude. So, yeah. So, basically, we'd be watching, if we're doing this stream, this Retro React stream, it would basically be about, if it's like 2.5 hours, that would be like 12, like around 15 parts. Just in the first 15 parts of my Fallout 3 playthrough from 2013, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of the first 15 parts were either blocked, muted, or claimed for copyright. Now, did I have the radio on? That I don't know. And by the way, we would not be watching my playthrough from 2013. We'd be watching my original playthrough from over on the Dark Side Phil channel. Okay? How fucking annoying, man. Seriously. Well, that's something to think about. What I'd have to do, I guess what I'd have to do is go to the original Dark Side Phil channel and actually like skim through the first few parts, because that's the playthrough people want, the original. You don't want to see the 2013 redo. You want to see my original playthrough from way back in the day, right? So, I would have to look into it and see if it's viable. So I would say right now, Dark Souls 1, Heavy Rain, Indigo Prophecy, top 3 suggestions. I'm sure people are going to give me more suggestions in the next week, because what I'd like to do is over next week run the poll to have people vote on what playthrough would be the next retro replay, because it's not going to be Sunday coming up. It's going to be the Sunday after that we're going to do the next retro replay stream, okay? Dan the Man says you should make a channel where you react to your older gameplay videos. Dan, have you checked out the DSP Throwback channel? I know you did, because you were over there the other day and you actually contributed to the stream. So I'm well aware that you know of the stream that I did there. That's kind of one of the points of the channel. Dr. Kinnison says, I vote for BioShock for the Retro React. BioShock. I did 2 playthroughs of BioShock. I remember the original one, and I remember doing the next. I did it again in the collection, the HD collection that came out. Yeah. All right, interesting. Thanks for that feedback. I will keep taking feedback, and I will gather that together and make a poll of 4 games next week for people to vote on and determine the next Retro React. So thank you for that. All right, I think it's time for us to start doing shout-outs, shall we? Let's begin. So we start today with Joker ? Who did a super chat and says, have you swallowed the black pill, and if not, why? I don't know what that is. I've heard of the red pill and the blue pill. I've not heard of a black pill, so I don't know what you're talking about. But thank you, Joker, for the first super chat of the day. Or I should say, Joker, for the first super chat of the day, because there's a question mark. There you go, right? Cool. All right, excellent. First tip of the day is Easy Peasy 91 did a $5 tip. First tip of the day. Let's get an animation. Let's see what Easy Peasy's take is. By the way, if you're wondering why I look so bright today, it's because it's so sunny outside that sun is still coming through my blinds, even though they're down. I'm going to try to close them even further, but I think that's as far as they close. All right, I did a tiny bit more. Ugh, but yeah, I can't really do it more than that. The sun is so bright, it's like in my face. Okay. So Easy Peasy 91 says the following. I think your hate watchers are actually the ones telling you to play peacefully and professionally, instead of just being yourself, at least in fighting games. They tell you that because they want you to be boring and get less views. I've seen you play fighting games, and lots of times I can tell you're upset and want to say something, but you hold back because of viewers. You're actually at your best when you're natural and funny, which can mean rage and swearing. That's like, so what? It's a fighting game. I used to play Tekken with friends in real life, and we would shit on each other. That's the whole fun of it. Don't let people dictate how streams go. You're definitely at your best when you're going all out and funny and raging. I'm pretty sure those who say otherwise are the ones who want to see you fail. I guess the question is, what is acceptable and how far is too far, right? Really? Like, that's the question. And I don't have an answer for that. You know? Because when I'm in the heat of the moment and I'm upset at a fighting game, and if I really feel like someone did not know what the hell they were doing and got lucky and beat me, I get legitimately heated. Like, legitimately upset. But the difference is, you know, so if I am playing a fighting game and I lose to, like, lack of character knowledge, like I'm doing a lot in Tekken, I actually don't get as upset. I'm like, damn, I lost exactly to 100% to character knowledge because I don't know what that character is capable of. I don't know that their high-level mix-up looks like that, so I can't defend, I can't get out of the way, and, you know, I actually usually don't get upset about that. What I get upset about is if I feel like someone sucks and is just mashing buttons and they get away with stuff. There's some characters in Tekken right now. Law is one of them. I think Jin is one of them, where you can just, when someone's knocked down, you can run up and start mashing buttons, and you track them. So if they try to get up, you can get lucky and just get another stupid hit. A counter hit, at least to another grounding and another juggle. It's like, but you didn't earn that. You just ran up and mashed buttons and hoped for the best and got lucky with another hit. You didn't time that. You didn't know what you were doing, right? And that frustrates me. I do feel like there's certain characters in Tekken that are just easy mode characters. Like, they're meant to be that way. And that's fine. Like, that's since the days of the early Tekkens. Like I said, Tekken 3, Eddie Gordo was the dawn of that. Like, they wanted to make an easy mode character that people could just mash and feel like they know how to play a fighting game. And it's always continued throughout the years with Tekken. There's always been a handful of characters like that where you just mash the buttons and get away with stupid shit. And again, it's on me to lose, that I'm losing to that, because I don't have the character knowledge to stop it. If I play more Tekken, I'll learn that. I'll learn the mashing bullshit and I won't get caught by it anymore. I'll punish it, right? I'll actually start parrying, getting the fuck out of my face, and then doing giant, punish combos after, which would be great. But I need to get to that point. I'm definitely not at that point right now. I'm nowhere near it, you know. But no, I understand what you're saying, easy peasy. I don't know. It's hard to figure out, like, what's the balance, because I can't just say whatever I want. I can't be, like, super duper personally insulting to every person I play. At the same time, I should have the ability to criticize and say things about someone's gameplay if I feel that it's inferior. But what's the happy medium between the two? At what point do you try to be entertaining but not insulting? Right? I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. Back in the day, this wasn't a concern. Back in the day when I played Street Fighter 4, anything went, and you could say whatever the hell you wanted, and no one cared, and people laughed, and you got popular for it. I was known as the toxic Street Fighter 4 guy, and it got me ridiculous amounts of attention on YouTube back in the day. Now, you try to play Street Fighter 6 that way, and everyone hates you. Everyone on the internet, oh, you're a piece of shit, you're a toxic fuckface, put them on fucking scrub quotes and all that. It's like, I'm not doing anything different today than I used to. In fact, today it's way more tame than it used to be, but now I'm the heinous villain. But back then, it was funny and good, and people got the joke. I don't get it. Society changed, right? Anyway. Let's continue. I got a $5 tip from Dan the Man. Thank you, Dan the Man, for a $5 tip. I appreciate that very much. Thank you for contributing and supporting my content. Okay. Very good. I received a $25 tip from 1 Minute Man. Don't forget you have a quest pending for Raphael. It's up to you. I hope you choose to save a certain person and buy a scroll and learn to play the lute. Someone may also be asking for Halcyon. Oh, well, I guess these are all things we'll encounter today at Last Light. I don't know, because we literally just arrived and just did a quick foot tour. We didn't even talk to that many people. So I guess we'll see what happens today and go from there. I don't know. The quest for Raphael is inside of the mausoleum, which we didn't go to yet. It was to kill that monster, right? Kill some vicious monster or something that's down there. So I guess we'll see how that goes, too, when we get there. What really happens with that monster. I don't know what's going to happen when we arrive. Thank you, 1 Minute Man. Always supportive of my content, no matter what I'm playing. I really, really appreciate that. Okay. Abdullah, re-upping his membership for 15 months, says, will you be replaying Resident Evil 6? I would like to think that someday I would. When Resident Evil 6 came out, I played it as a co-op game and never actually really played it as a solo game, nor do I feel like it was much of a horror game. I liked it, but I didn't like it as a Resident Evil game. I liked it as an action game. A lot of people hated it because it said it was Resident Evil 6 and it didn't really feel like Resident Evil at all. Someday I think I would like to replay it. Okay. Let's see here. Someone said Tekken doesn't seem to gel with me like Street Fighter does. I don't know if I agree with that. Why would you say that? Haven't you noticed that, like, I'm getting into it? I'm starting to learn stuff. I'm doing well. I'm getting combos. I'm getting punishes now. When I have a good match of Tekken where I feel like I'm genuinely outplaying the enemy, I'm having a great time with it. I am. Just as much as, when I was playing Street Fighter 6. So I don't... here's the thing. I feel it's the opposite. I don't feel that it's like I'm not liking Tekken. I think it's that, in general, my viewers either like or don't like Tekken. Like, a lot of my viewers just like Street Fighter more. They like that gameplay more. They like that universe more. And now that I'm putting that time into a different franchise, they're kind of upset about that. Oh, why is he playing this other game instead of just playing more Street Fighter, right? That's my take, because outside of that, I don't see the difference. I'm playing it well. I'm learning these characters. I'm doing advanced combos and moves. It's not like I'm playing like a scrub or anything, right? So I'm not sure. Really, Trigger says Resident Evil 6 is actually hot garbage as a single-player game, only good with co-op. Jade, I will see you tonight for Like a Dragon. Sounds good. I'm very much looking forward to that stream. All right, guys, we got a little bit of extra time. If you want to toss a question my way, please tag me in the chat at DSPGaming. Let's see what you guys want to talk about. The landscapers have gone away. I don't hear them, but I get the feeling they're going to come back now when I start the game, which is going to frustrate me, because then I'm going to close the door, and then immediately it's going to get hot as shit in here because the sun is out. Ugh. Ooh. Ugh. Did I hear that Wings quit the Lolcow podcast because Keem was giving his trolls a platform? Someone had mentioned that a week or two ago on here that he was quitting the podcast. That's the extent of it that I know. I've literally never listened to a second of the podcast, don't know anything about the podcast, don't care about the podcast, don't want to listen to the podcast. The only reason I know about it is because you guys came on here and said, are you aware that, like, entire episodes of the podcast are about you? And I'm like, no. I don't know why they would be. I'm not part of the show. I never agreed to be part of the show. I never even had a discussion about the show with anyone. I don't care about the show. I'm not going to talk about the show. I think again, with a show like that, what they want to do is they want to talk shit to goad someone into talking about it. So now they have something to talk about on their show because they need to feed off of others to have a show. Because without feeding off the drama of others, they have no show. Because that's what happens with these drama circles. These people have no talent. So they need to goad other people into reactions so that they can then react to their reactions because that's how they make content. It's not like, oh, we have a show with all these interesting set topics today that we're going to cover. It's just nonsensical drama, right? So, yeah, like I don't care about the show at all. I never did. People outright told me, are you aware that on the show, they're not only doing entire segments about you, but they're all saying things like, Phil, we know you're listening. And I was like, no, I don't. Why? I'm not listening. I've not heard a second of it. The only thing I hear is secondhand from people in my chat or one of my fans telling me on the back end, are you aware that there's entire hateful segments or entire shows about you? I'm like, no, I don't give a fuck, right? I don't give a shit enough about the people on that show to watch or listen to it. To watch or listen to the show, I'd have to care about the people on it. I don't. So, I don't waste my time and stuff I don't care about, I'm not going to watch content from things that don't interest me. Lol cow culture does not fucking interest me in the least. So, I don't care who's on the show. You know what I mean? The thing that got me is I made that abundantly clear. And then you got someone like Turkey Tom who made a documentary about me. And then he tried to say he wanted to just like interview me. And I'm like, I'll consider it. And I asked you guys, and you guys abundantly told me, no, don't do it. So I didn't do it. And then he literally said in a video, oh, darn, now I can't milk Phil anymore. I guess I'm done milking him. And I was thinking in my head, these people actually think it's healthy to say and that they want to milk other people. Like, they think that's normal behavior. Oh, I just milked someone today for toxic content so I could make money. It's like, do you not understand how fucked that is? How immoral that is? How dangerous that is? I can't believe people sleep at night doing that, except that I understand there's a lot of people on this planet who have no conscience. They don't care who they hurt as long as they make money. So, and that's what I mean. Like, that's the kind of people who are involved with that show. Who the fuck wants to be involved with a show that says, we're a bunch of lol cow farmers who milk you for content? Are you out of your fucking mind? That's the most disgusting, toxic thing I've ever heard in my life. I don't want to touch that with a bazillion-foot pole. That, you know what I mean? I don't care how much money you're going to pay me. You're out of your fucking mind. You'd have to be a dumbass to be involved with that in any capacity. Whether you're a lol cow or a farmer or whoever, you'd have to actually have low mental capacity to be involved in that content in any way, including making it or watching and listening to it. You have to be an idiot. And I'm not an idiot. So that's why I have nothing to do with it. That kind of content, it's very simple. It's the immoral milking the dumb. That's exactly what it is. Immoral people who don't give a shit how they make their money, milking stupid people of their money. It's trash, and I don't deal with that shit. Okay. Let's see here. I received a $6.66 tip from Ugly Tuna Roll. I got into Yakuza Like a Dragon because of you. Laughing out loud, I was never even into these kind of games, but Infinite Wealth is my first one. Ironically, I've been living in Japan for 15 years now, and they love that studio. Cheers, man. Not surprising. I mean, that studio is one of the game studios that's trying to represent Japanese culture in gaming, right? And it's not just a bunch of anime shit. It's actually real Japanese people and real Japanese culture. So, it's not surprising how prominent it is. Thank you very much, Ugly Tuna Roll. I'm glad to hear that you're liking the games, as a result of me playing them. Although it's hilarious to me that you watched an American. You literally watched an American playing a Japanese culture game, and that's what got you into the Japanese culture game, even though you live in Japan and are immersed in Japanese culture every day. Wow. Funny how that works. What am I doing tomorrow, Jade? Let's see. Well, tomorrow I got to get some stuff for Jasper Kitty at the pet store. Like I said, I'm going to the liquor store because I'm going to see what kind of liquor I can get for the Super Bowl event on Saturday. I got to go grocery shopping, and I'm buying special ingredients for the recipes my wife will be making for the Super Bowl event. And I think likely, I'll see if my wife wants to play more Tekken 8. Last week, she went through the character story for Victor, and she played some online play with Victor. She played a little bit more of the arcade quest, but I think she's kind of getting bored of that. Even though it's funny, she's at the end. She's in the final arcade of Arcade Quest, so she only has to beat a few more opponents and then do like the final tournament or two, and she beats it. So I think she should, just to get the trophies, I think she should beat it. Or actually the achievement points, I think she should beat it. But I'm curious if I'm very curious if she will play it more or not. She is so into Like a Dragon right now. I'm playing the living hell out of Like a Dragon right now. So I don't know how much more she'll play it or not. I guess we'll see. No, Kat is not going to be in the Super Bowl event. Like I said, Kat will be here when there's stuff that she wants to be a part of. Right now, she really wants to do the Dondoko Island co-op. That's the next thing she wants to be involved in. So that's why we're hoping to get that going this week coming up. But she's not interested in the Super Bowl stuff, no. Have I ever gave chocolate for Valentine's? Have I ever gave chocolate for Valentine's? I guess. I'm sure at some point in my life I gave chocolate as a present for Valentine's Day. I mean, I'm 41 years old, so yeah. What's funny is, so someone had said this the other day too. Someone said, this year are you going to do anything with chocolate for Valentine's Day? And I was like, chocolate for Valentine's Day? We still have chocolate downstairs from Christmas. We had this giant bag of Hershey's Nuggets we bought at Costco in like early December. And we also had a specialty, like specialty chocolates that we bought, and we had a few of them on like Christmas Eve together. And since then we put them in the what do you call it? The pantry, and we haven't even taken them out to eat them again. So it's like, we're not, listen, I love chocolate, but we stay away. We stay away from the stuff that's tempting. So we, you know, don't even think about that. No, I'm not doing anything with chocolate for Valentine's Day. If we tip a certain amount, can a certain character get played in Tekken 8? I would do that for Kuma. Right now, I have no plans to do anything like that, no. Should the Super Bowl be considered a federal holiday? I don't know. There's a lot of weird federal holidays I'm not even aware of. There's days that, like, everything's closed. It's like, what? Why? What is today? I don't even know what today is. There's a holiday today? Right? I don't know. Thoughts on Costco food court food? The only thing I've ever had there, Turtle Dude, was their hot dog. And the hot dog was super tasty. And I loved it. But I've never had anything else there. I've heard good things about the food, but I never tried it. Dr. Kinnis says, I'm noticing more ads recently. Have you seen an increase in ad revenue? Not really. I haven't really been looking, quite frankly. But no, I don't think that there's been any uptick in ad revenue for me. The weird part is, if I go to analytics, right? This month, I shouldn't even say this month. I should say since 2024 started, my overall views are up. My overall time watched is actually way up. I actually have like way more overall hours watched on my content than from December. But all my revenue was way down. Because ads, number one, dried up, so ad revenue went way down. And I lost out on a ton of the membership revenue that I normally would have. So it was like a double drop for me. So likely it would end up being, you know, a while. I would probably think the next 2 months. Typically, you would see around like March, April, there's a big uptick in ad revenue on YouTube again because there's various different things happening at that time frame that the advertisements, you know, step up again. Sometimes you see it this week for the Super Bowl. I haven't particularly seen too much of an increase in advertisements for the Super Bowl this week. So maybe YouTube just didn't get it this year. I don't know. They used to. YouTube used to have like tons of ads for the Super Bowl. But I don't even think they have that this year. All right, anything else, guys? What else would you like to chat about today? Nothing? Nothing. We're done. Nothing to talk about. We've said our piece. We're done. Nothing interesting to discuss. Maybe time for a suggestion box submission. Excuse me. Sorry about the belching today. As far as a merch option, look into Gamer Sups, aka G Sups. They're a successful rival competitor to G Fuel. They don't have a history of kowtowing to pressure from haters. They also have been partnering with just about any content creator, many of which have a smaller following than you. I think it'd be best to collab. Gamer Sups? Gamer Sups offers keto-friendly, sugar-free, and low-calorie energy drinks and powders for esports athletes and gamers. Shop online to get free samples of waifu cups. Are you kidding me? I gotta read this. Oh my god. Gamer Subs is 100% waifu content. I'm not even shitting you. It's all anime girls and husbandos too. It's got husbandos. Come the fuck on, man. Oh, this is terrible, dude. It's so bad. Oh, I definitely want to drink the energy drink called Grandpa's Ashes. I'm not kidding. They have a flavor called Grandpa's Ashes. Like you pretend like you're eating the cremated remains of your grandfather in an energy drink. Well, if I were to have a sponsorship with Gamer Subs, I would demand that they make a husbando cup of me posing. It would be the DSP husbando cup. Everyone would be required to get one. Oh my god. Let me read another suggestion. It would be amazing if you... I'm not kidding you. I'm reading this word for word off of the suggestions thread. It'd be amazing if you did something totally off the wall and unexpected, like run for president or even just the mayor. Obviously, it would be jokingly, but the thing is, at this point, you don't have to really leave home or do anything to run for office. You can sign up to do it and give your entire campaign platform through videos. Your campaign could just be intended as a statement on something, even just something like games or one of the things you react to in DSP Reacts. It doesn't even have to have anything outright political at all. You have a pretty good and sober view on things that's often missing in the world today. I think people would find it very interesting and entertaining. Plenty of people have run their own campaigns for office that were jokes or statements. It doesn't have to be that. Do a wild card thing people don't expect that would surprise them. Well, it is official. Starting tomorrow, I am starting my campaign for the President of the United States. All right? As an independent. You ready? If Trump and Biden can get elected, I don't know how I could possibly not be a viable candidate. I mean, one guy's barely alive and the other guy barely has a brain cell. So, if either way, holy crap, man. Oh my god. Build back Burnell. Wow. Original series Phaser, if you want answers on the Xbox stuff, check out the last two podcasts. We went into massive detail about it there. No point reiterating a third time when I've already went into detail twice, and I'm sure we'll be talking about this again next week when Phil Spencer does his presentation and says his piece and we find out what's really going on. I need to be in my 80s to be elected president. Well, I look like I'm in my 80s, so all I'll do is I'll dye my hair gray, and I'll pass for it, I'm sure. Right? Let's face it, my face is way more bloated than Donald Trump's, right? My balls are already hanging down to my kneecaps and clacking together like this, so what I'll do is I'll just glue some ear hair in my ears, and I'll dye all my hair. Perfect. Right? If I want to unlock Dondoko Island by Valentine's Day, I have to play Straight Story. Well, I'm playing Straight Story tonight. I don't think you can play Straight Story in Chapter 5 because you have to unlock the job systems and all of that. So I can do that. And like I said, I'm playing it today, Saturday, Sunday, and Tuesday. So between 4 streams of it coming up in the next week, hopefully that's enough to get to Dondoko Island. I guess we'll see. Carliga says, you know, we don't even know who's who in that diss you just said. Really? You don't know who's nearly dead and who doesn't have a brain cell? You can't figure that out? I need to paint myself orange, too. There you go. I'll go with a different color. How about I go with, like, blue? I just paint my whole face blue, and then I'll be told that I'm a racist for being blue face. I'll be told I'm discriminating. It's a discrimination against the blue man group. That how dare I wear blue face, right? There we go. The Smurfs. There you go. Papa Smurf will be pissed at me. Den Bover says I should play Call of Duty. We're playing Call of Duty on Saturday during the Super Bowl event. I'm going to do a session of it there. I don't know how long, but we're going to do a session of it there. So if you want to see me check out the new stuff while buzzed, come by on a Saturday. There you go. I've already upset someone. Someone says, you're downplaying racial and ethnic stereotypes. I just have never learned anything. That's correct. As you know, I'm an incredible racist. I really hate those blue-faced people, let me tell you. I can't stand them. If they would just go back to the Smurf lands they came from, can't take it, man. Fucking people, I swear to God. Hi. Say 5 things I've been doing wrong in the last 48 hours. Okay, let's see. I played games poorly. I begged for money. I snorted and cleared my throat too much. I told bad jokes. And I breathed. Top 5 things I did wrong in the last 48 hours, according to my detractors. There you go. Play me out, Paul. All right. I think it's time to end the show. Who's the tallest person I remember seeing? I'm almost positive that when I was a kid, my parents took me to see the Harlem Globetrotters. And everyone there is tall as shit. Like, all the Globetrotters and the opposing team, too. You know, any basketball player is tall as fuck. And I remember sitting there and looking like, oh my God, like, those guys are giants, right? All right. I think it is time to end the show and to prepare for Baldur's Gate 3 chill fun today. I want to say thank you all. Great, relaxing show. As I knew it would be. I knew today would be a relaxing show, and I appreciate that. Remember, I'm not here tomorrow. When I return on Friday, I'm sure we'll have tons to talk about, because whenever I have a day off, that's when everything happens. So I guarantee you there's going to be, like, tons of news and stuff going on tomorrow that we'll talk about on Friday's show. In addition, of course, this week coming up is very hype with the Super Bowl event coming on Saturday, which would be fun. So I certainly hope that you will join me for all the festivities. I wish you all a very safe and happy Thursday. And I hope to see you all again this coming Friday. But in the meantime, peace out, everyone, and see you soon.